amongst women in higher education, and I am privileged to be here with you this morning. I would start by offering my very hearty congratulations to SRM Institute, particularly the Vice Chairman, for bringing to our knowledge, especially to my knowledge, the large number of women you have on board. And you are a leader of women, and you pointed out very appropriately that there are more than 43% women, 49% women enrolled in higher education, over 43% teachers who are women, but less than 7% as vice chancellors. So I hope you will be able to hand over the baton after your term to a woman vice chancellor in SRM, and I'll be there to felicitate it. That will be a wonderful moment for all of us. And I really wish to say how appreciative I am of the fact that SRM has contributed so much to women empowerment in general and women in higher education in particular. I would start by speaking of a little bit personally. My own mentor, guide, and inspiration was my woman professor, Dr. Devi, who was later Vice Chancellor of the Manonmani University. She's a very well-known educator. She was a great lady. When I was a young girl of 17, 18, she was my professor, and she bowled me over, and I was so impressed and inspired by her way of teaching, by her content, by the way she carried herself. And she mentored me, and until today, she is now 82 years old. I am in touch with her constantly, and she has been my mentor and guide. So I am giving you this example to tell all of you women in higher education how much you mean to us as students, how much you need to model yourselves in that role as people we look up to. At first, I want to address you as women, as empowered women. What kind of personality do you bring to the table? What kind of personality do you bring to the classroom when you're addressing your students? Do you exhibit yourself as a model of an empowered woman? Are you sure that you are doing that? And have you made your personality, your persona, carry a message to all the boys and the girls who are in your class about a new age woman, an empowered woman, a strong woman, a competent woman, a confident woman? I would like you women in higher education to think a bit about your own personality, your own values, your own systems, and what kind of image you project to your students. And you need to look inwards a bit before you look outwards. And in this context, I must say that when you are there, up there teaching us, all of us are watching you, and watching you from top to toe. So you have to be well turned out, look smart, be smart, act smart, speak smart, because we are watching your every move, and everything makes an impression on us, and it makes a lasting impression on us. So it is important that you, even more than the male professors, have a role in providing an appropriate and very inspiring image. Secondly, you as women in higher education, what message do you take the students? It is not only the girl students, but also the boy students. Much of whatever be the subject you are teaching, whether it is mathematics, physics, history, or something else, what is the message you are giving to your boys and to your girls in gender sensitivity? It is not only gender sensitivity today. Today, you have to talk in terms of the third gender, the LGBT community, sensitivity to all human beings, to disability, to any kind of vulnerability needs to be seen with great empathy, with great desire to come forward and contribute to improvement and upliftment of the vulnerable. And that message should be given by you as women in higher education more than anybody else, to the boys and to the girls. And to the girls in particular, give them the message of self-confidence, give them the message of self-worth, or give them the message of aspiration, and allow them to dream big, allow them to think that the world is their oyster, and they can go anywhere and wherever it is possible. The other point that I would like to mention to you as women educators in the colleges, and the boys also need counseling. And besides your You have an internal complaints committee. Besides that, you as individual teachers can be counselors. I remember my own professor was a person to whom I used to go with even my personal problems, my personal fears, my aspirations. This is something that you can play a role outside the home to your students, and especially to both the boys and girls in their adolescent years when they are going through very difficult times, especially in the times of internet and WhatsApp and stories of stalking and girl boy relationships in the colleges and in the schools. How can the teachers contribute to bringing a better climate, a better environment, a more cooperative and understanding environment between the boys and girls, and particularly for the girls? And for the girls, the requirements during their menstruation, during their premenstrual stress, and other such problems, there should be adequate facilities, and the teachers in higher education should ensure that these facilities are adequately available and useful to the girl students. The other point that I would like to mention is that you women, when you, as women in higher education, we always talk about in terms of the biological needs of menstruation and so on. But as you go up in the ladder, I think an important requirement that needs to be addressed is also the menopause time. Most of you, when you are about to assume the leadership role, will also be the time when you are going through the difficult phase of menopause, the difficult phase of your own partner's midlife crisis, the difficult phase of your own children's adolescence and youth for young adulthood. So this is a very difficult time for a woman in particular, and you need to have not only counseling for the girls but counseling amongst ourselves to deal with these issues, which are the biological needs of a woman in careers and the biological needs of a woman to handle leadership positions, even if it is in higher education. The next point I would like to dwell upon is you as a woman, empowered young woman or older woman academician, have also an image to give to the society around you. What kind of work do you do, or issues do you consider to be close to you in terms of taking up the interests of destitute women, for example, or domestic women workers? How do you treat them better than other women? You should be a model for that. And lastly, I would like to talk about your role as women in the family. It's always said that you as mothers will have a great role. Besides being teachers, they are also mothers in bringing up the girls equal to the boys. There's one thing I would like to suggest. Maybe you would have to bring up the boys like girls also. Tell them how to be sensitive to the needs of the family, do other things which are considered unmasculine, and teach them to be gender neutral and to be appreciative of all aspects of the family life, and make sure that your partner and your children are also contributing to reducing the gender gap. Having said these things, I would just like, because you're an Institute of Science and Technology, I just want to address some of these issues of science and technology also. As you know, the science and technology stream is called the STEM stream, that is science, technology, engineering, and maths. We have, and as the Vice Chancellor pointed out, we have probably the highest enrollment of women in these areas throughout the world, which is almost 42 or 43%. But the actual number of women in STEM related professions is only 14%. So this is called the leaky STEM pipeline. The pipeline is full of water, full of young STEM students. But at the end, at the product level, at the point where they have to become professionals in the STEM area, the numbers are very small. So it's called a leaky pipeline. What do we do to plug this pipeline? What do we do to end this gap? And a lot of it will have to do with early age gap reduction. It is called early age gap reduction because it's not after you get into the profession that you try to see that you reduce the gap. Even before you get into a profession, what are the aspirations? Why is it that women drop out? Why is it that women don't go forward and go on and reach the higher positions? In India, we have wonderful examples who you as women educators should showcase to your students. In the area of the Indian Space Research Organization, we have more than 11 women who are at head of various missions. We have a famous woman called Madam Ritu, who is called the Rocket Woman of India, who was responsible for the Mars mission. We have a woman, Tessie Thomas, in the Defense Research Development Organization, who's called the Missile Woman, as Abdul Kalam was called the Missile Man. She's called the Missile Woman. She developed missiles in the Defense Research Development Organization. She's called Agni Putri because the missile is called Agni. She's called Agni Putri. I mean, these are kind of people. We talk about Shakuntala Devi, we talk about Kalpana Chawla, but these are examples before us who are less known. But in the DRDO, there are about 15% women in the DRDO organization. In the ISRO, there are about 7% women. There are not many women, but they have risen to higher positions of leadership by sheer competence and capability. And they have overcome all the challenges and done extremely well. And the nation as a whole should be so proud of these women in these STEM-related jobs. Now, I'll give you a statistics regarding Sweden. Sweden says we don't have as many women as you in India in the STEM sector. They have only 35% women in the STEM area, in the engineering, technical education, and mathematics area. But the number of women in professions relating to STEM is 34%. 35% women in this area and 34% employed. So there's hardly any unemployment or a loss of STEM candidates from the pipeline after they have graduated from their universities. So this is another gap we need to fill. How do we make sure that these girls go forward and are not a loss to the nation after their education? How do you give them role models? How do you do upskilling? How do you do your classes in such a way? Maybe you make use of gamification and other new methods of teaching and bring in the role models like Tessie Thomas and Madam Ritu to inspire your scientific talent to move forward in the scientific area. Another area which I'm told is very greatly underrepresented and where women can play a big role is artificial intelligence. I am told that world over, the number of men in artificial intelligence research is over 80%. So here is another area where women can contribute and is a niche area. I'm telling this to the women educators so that you can bring this knowledge, this information to your students. Even somebody like Facebook and Google have only 10 to 15% women in their artificial intelligence schemes and machine learning schemes. So here's another area where it is a very woman-friendly type of work in the sense it's not a physical labor or anything. It is mostly research and contributing your intelligence and your knowledge to areas of research. Artificial intelligence is the future. And women have to be there in this to be part of the work stream and the pioneering work stream of the globe. The next area which I want to touch upon is the digital illiteracy amongst women. World over, the availability of mobile phones in women is only 64%. And in India, the women have a mobile phone, but they are dabba phones, as it were. They are not connected to the internet. It's only 14% which who of women who are connected to the internet. There is a digital illiteracy amongst women. There's a need for improving the digital literacy and increasing the participation of women in digitally empowered means. And there's a lot of work to be done. There's an international organization which is addressing this area. In fact, recently we found that COVID statistics of number of women vaccinated was less. And part of the reason was that the women could not register themselves through the online portal. You see, and many such areas where women are handicapped for want of digital literacy. And maybe this is something with you through your students and students through their families and the societies around them, especially in rural areas, bring about digital literacy. In fact, there's another area for women to work on. More than 1 million apps are available, and most of these apps male centric, are devised by women and mostly for women. Why can't we develop women for apps for women which can be specific to women's health needs, gynecological needs, women consultation through, and apps for women entrepreneurs, apps for women employment. There may be many areas in which applications can be developed by women for women. In fact, this is called femtech, feminine technology. There is a need for technology to be feminized, and this is a huge scope for women educators to bring to the knowledge of your students and and to everybody around you, to whoever you have impact on. And entrepreneurs, I believe, I understand that there are today some sessions on women entrepreneurs and MSMEs. It is very interesting that in India, the women entrepreneurs are only 13 and odd percent. MSMEs or the medium small industries are only about 7%. And the corporate managers are only 27%. Only 8% of women are there in the Fortune 500 list. So though we have made great strides, especially we have educated a lot of girls, these girls are not getting into positions which are of importance to them and to the future of women as much as we would have liked them to be. In fact, the great examples for us are the Nordic countries, Norway, Sweden, Finland, where the participation of women is almost equal. It is fantastic what they have achieved. In their parliament, for example, in Norway, it is 41% women. We have been struggling for 30% representation for women in parliament and not been able to get it. Recently, we had the panchayats and the local bodies with 30% women, and that has made a great difference to women in political participation. But we have a long way to go. And these Nordic countries, the one of the ways in which they have achieved this is to take care of child care and family requirements immediately after childbirth. Most of these places, parental leave is up to 18 months, sometimes even 2 years. A lot of emphasis is given to women to be able to be in the workforce without worrying too much, without being sure that there are facilities for childcare and for proper supervision and so on. So this is taken care of. So both in the public sector, the academic sector, and the private sector, the corporates and the managements of institutions have to make available childcare facilities and facilities which are women specific, so that, and also parental leave and so on, both for the mother and for the father, to be able to ensure that women don't drop out of the workforce when it is when they have children or when they are raising children. There is also a case, and as the Vice Chancellor said, you are consciously making an effort to make sure that women are there in larger numbers. I am not normally a champion of quota system, but in some areas, maybe the reservation for women would help. I do believe that we all did not come through any quota, but maybe it will help just nudge the women a little further if there is a possibility. But what we see is, as Vice Chancellor also mentioned, in many places they advertise for gender neutral advertisement, asking women and men, and the women don't participate, don't come forward to take up many of these jobs. So we can do a lot in inspiring these women to go in or whatever type of employment or passion that would like to pursue. The last point which the Vice Chancellor also mentioned is a bit about leadership. The one great quality that women have is resilience. And this resilience to be able to get down, fall down, get up and walk again in all their domestic situations. needs to come to the professional situation. Or resilience is a great quality which we can further, which we can work on the girl students in their quest for leadership. The next thing is mentoring, which I mentioned. It's very important. Boys, girls, or some icon. A mentor is very important for women to come forward and not necessarily to always be leaders, but also to participate in the workforce and be a contribution to the GDP of the country. Of course, housework also contributes substantially to the GDP of the country. But then, when they are educated, when they have gone in for higher education, they must bring that talent to the nation's good also. The other point I would like to mention is generally amongst the girls, because of their cultural upbringing and general environment, there is a confidence gap. They are able to do up to a point, and then when it gets higher, they get a little indifferent. They are not assertive. They don't want to take up a high challenge because of the lack of confidence. The confidence gap here, make sure that confidence level are better than what.
Madam, you are muted. Madam. Madam, muted. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to quote he's a great leader in the United States. He's written a book called which of you should read. Some women in the corporate world, which is applicable to women in any world, of how you can come forward. There is a general complaint that they are bossy. One bosses very bossy. They try to throw their weight around. She says they're not bossy, it's only corporate skills. That's what she calls it. The point I'm trying to make is that you have to have a style of your own and be extremely tough, but at the same time very, very fair. That contributes to a good leadership quality. And the capacity for nurturing, the capacity for empathizing is so intrinsic to a woman, and that can contribute a great deal to a great leader. And we have had great leaders, political leaders, and leaders, as I said, in science and technology and all that, all over the country. It is a great opportunity for women in higher education to see in their lifetime their own students coming to these positions and doing them proud. My own principal in Queen Mary's College was a famous woman who was a PhD from the London School of Economics in those days, 50 years ago, Dr. Ravati. And greatest happiness I gave her was when I became a civil servant. She felt so happy that her student, and she was so proud of it. So your students are proud of you, and you are proud of your students when you see them do well. So I would exhort you to be a complete woman, a competent woman, a humane woman, and a woman who is a beacon of light and a ray of hope to hundreds of young boys and girls who are looking up to you. At that time, you should not have feet of clay. Your feet should be strong on the ground, and we look up to you. And let me tell you, as a student myself, I am now well past my student days, but I revere my teachers. I remember them with most respect and gratitude. And you have a life after your teaching days where you will be remembered, you will be accessed by your students, and they will always be grateful to you for what you did to empower them. With this, I give you my best wishes for you not only being successful educators, as they say in our scriptures, Mata Pita Guru Devam. You are both Guru and Mata. So you are Guru Mata, and you have an excellent and a demanding role on you. Don't let this opportunity slip. It's an opportunity that few of us have had, and you have the capacity to make the nation of the future. And I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. If possible, can you allow us to talk some questions? The participants, if they wanted to interact, ma'am.
Yes, certainly.
They are very much interested. Yes, ma'am. Please, participants, if you wanted to ask any query, please raise your hand. Maybe I will unmute yourself, or I will allow you people to talk now. Yeah, I'll just, you can unmute now. You can talk. Whoever wanted to raise. Okay. Anyone? Yeah, Padmavati ma'am, you can unmute and talk, ma'am. Yeah.
Good morning, madam. I am Padmavati. I want to have some words that how to have a balanced life from self, personal and working.
You see, you have to be a little lucky that you have a partner who's contributing. But as I think the Vice Chancellor said in a lighter note about married women, at the end of the day, you have a very important role in the family, and you have to work your way into a work-life balance, and it is personal to each individual. And if you can devise ways by which we can divide the time. And for me personally, I owe a lot to my own mother. She contributed a lot to being available at home for my child. So there is some need for dependence, but ultimately the environment in which you work, the university or the company or the government or wherever you work, they have to be supported also to be able to give you sufficient and leave. To the woman chairman of State Bank of India, she was Miss Bhattaria, was the first one chairman of State Bank of India. One of the things she did for women of the bank was she gave them 2-year 3 sabbaticals, where they could take off without resigning the job for 2-3 years and take care of the family and so on. So this is something you do, but then your partner also take care of the house and the children and all. It's not only a woman's job. This thinking you have to, when they come to see you for marriage, you must make it clear that you will share all the duties with me, and then proceed accordingly. I am sure you know the tricks of the trade, how to make sure there may be many ways. I can't go through many of it, but it's important that the family as a whole contribute, and the workplace contributes, and the government policies in terms of parental leave, child care facilities, and so on. They also contribute to create an atmosphere, not only a one-way process. But a lot of sacrifices are also made, and I think the children from day one will have to start appreciating the fact that it's not something which they are, which has awake to them. The mother are professionals. Actually, I should say that this COVID has taught us a lot of lessons. Now, a lot of work can be done from home. So that is also one of the ways in which we can we can address the issue of home life balance.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, there was a question from Ruma De. Ma'am, how can we motivate parents? Parents' view of them still have a different mindset for their daughters.
I am surprised. I think parents have been wonderful today. 39% of the students learn. How is that possible? That is possible because parents allow investing in their children's education, in spite of the fact that being a girl with a BTech degree does not lower the dowry in any way. They are still spending money on the girl and making her a BTech or a scientist and so on. It is not so much the parent as the marital home into which she goes, where she is allowed to work or not work. The parents are not allowing the girls to work because they feel that maybe her marriage prospects will be less, or there are so many predators in the real world. She will be vulnerable. The parents, one of the ways, as you as parents, and your message to parents of your students is that is to address vulnerability. This vulnerability is what makes us women lose our confidence in going into the world and handling. Today, there are girls who are fighter pilots. Can you imagine? It is one of the most difficult jobs on earth to be a fighter pilot, and there are girls doing that. Their parents are with them, and their parents are not people from Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, and big metro cities. Parents are from some village in Haryana, some place somewhere else. These parents have allowed their girls to take up really all male, terribly male, macho male dominated areas where women are going. So I think it's a matter of a few years, these perceptions will change. We ourselves, you are becoming parents. How will you bring up your children? You concentrate on that, and you concentrate on the parents of your children. And if the girls are seen as being able to get good careers with good incomes, and their quality of life improves, their vulnerability decreases. In fact, in the apps, one of the apps which I wanted to talk about was an app for security for the women, whereby, in fact, the Chennai police have started something like that, where by just pressing a button, if there is any harassment or any teasing in a public place, they can access police help. Many such things. We can use technology to protect women better from some of the predators and some of the dangers in the real world, which prevent them from coming out a lot. So we have to move ahead. And in all these Nordic countries and all that, the presence of more women around bring down the incidence of this kind of behavior, which is errant behavior. If there are women in a place, if women are visible over the place, definitely they are maybe we need to train them in martial arts and self-defense, and just the capacity, wearing a 10 sovereign gold chain and going out is inviting trouble. So why do you do that? And you change your values, you change your methods of behavior, the way you carry yourself. If you carry yourself with courage and strength, maybe a fellow will feel less intimidated to stalk you or to harass you. There are many ways. It's your personality, it is the environment, it is the government, it's the policy, it's the work environment. All these will contribute to giving that confidence to the parents to allow their children to go in for a professional life, a successful, rewarding professional life also.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Sheila, ma'am, you wanted to ask something, please?
Good
No,
morning.
I don't want to ask anything.
No, other Sheila, ma'am. Sorry, Sheila Shashikumar. Yeah, she wants to ask. Yeah. Ma'am,
Good
please.
morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, madam. Thank you for your wonderful and motivating session. And it really motivates us, and we will become a role model for the younger generation. And also thank you, SRM, for a wonderful organizing talk like this. Madam, there is one query which I feel at the age of 54, I need to talk about this. There are many women who are very good in the research career. They take a break because of the personal problems. This is including me also, because I have a special need child, I need to take a break. But after a break, when we enter, sometimes we lose the age at the time of entry point. So why don't we have some programs at the age of 40 for women specifically who have a break in career?
Yeah, that's a very good suggestion, but it will have to, what kind of program do you think of in terms of government programs or institutional programs?
It's in terms of government programs for us to help in the research, so that government helps us a fund, or sometimes an organization like SRM takes as a part of there are many women whom I know because of the personal problems, but I came back and I did something better. But I want all the women to have such opportunity, madam.
Yeah, this is a very good suggestion. I fully endorse it. As I meant also, women at the time of their not only in research, but when they are about to become leaders or top positions, they also go through menopause and midlife crisis in their homes and all these problems. And that's maybe a time they need a little break, a little effort to be able to come back to the job with some of these things settled personally and domestically. So there is need, just as parental leave is something that's being given when childbirth, there at certain other stage in the woman's career and personal life, there should be an opportunity for women to take a sabbatical and not lose her security or her paid sabbatical at other stage in life, not merely only for child rearing, early child rearing. I think that we as women have to fight for this right and make sure that the workplace, irrespective of which workplace it is, gives us an opportunity to break mid-career and come back. I agree with you totally, and this is something which the Nordic countries do, which all these countries where women participation is good. They are very sensitive to these issues and allow women to go out of research and come back. We need to learn from them. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Ma'am, maybe in this I also wanted, when we went for maternity leave and came back, we were given that same seniority. That was, I felt it is a great thing, even though we have taken a small break of 3 months or 6 months. They are considering, and that is the best feature I wanted to tell here.
I want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you, ma'am.
But we need to do much more.
Yes, thank you. Any other queries or any other queries?
If there are no queries, I would like to read one message which our Dean IQAC has put it in the chat box. We have enjoyed your dynamic speech. I was fortunate to witness your dynamic action years ago when I was in school in Parni. You were the sub-collector then and ensured that all the traders display the price list. It was a big achievement in those days. Hats off to you, madam. Dynamism in thought, words, and action. So this
Thank
is
you so much.
Congratulations, ma'am. Yeah. Dean IQAC.
From 40 years ago, 40 years ago, so nice to remember. Maybe that little boy is my grandfather, who was in school at that time. I was this thing. I mean, so many decades later to be remembered for my first job. They say that your first job is a romance, and the rest is like your wife. Because the first job is so full of tremendous exploration and achievement and success that I also value and cherish my days as sub-collector Dindikal. And I am very grateful for the gentleman from Parni to have remembered it. Thank you so much. It brings me nostalgia. It brings me great pleasure and very long cherished moments.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. In fact, I was living in the PWD colony where madam used to come and stay there whenever she comes for inspection.
Okay.
Okay. Remember that yeah. I remember that
sir,
very well. Thank you so much.
Palaru Purdalar colony, madam.
Palar Porundalar. Yes, I remember right on the main road. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes. Yes, ma'am. I liked that wording, like value. We have to change our value, not that wearing a gold chain and things like that. Instead, where the women have the power, definitely we can win the world. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, Ramya, can you? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, someone, Sonia Singla, you wanted to ask something?
No, ma'am.
She raised your hand. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Maybe I just clapped that hand, not.
Okay. Oh, clap the hand. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you.
There's one question, ma'am. How to, by Yasha Jyoti, how to deal with the male dominance in the professional life?
In professional life?
Yes, ma'am. Male dominance in professional life.
That I was talking about for an hour. You have to deal with it by your personality, by your not giving up, by your self-confidence, by making sure that you are appreciated for your competence and not depreciated for your gender, by putting yourself forward as a competent professional. I don't think you should say I'm a woman, take care of me. You should say I am this, I am so confident, I am so good at what I am doing, I'm the best that you can get, so you'll lose something if you don't take me. If you give that image, then there's no way that they won't take you. They have to take you because they need you. This is my experience in my own profession. When I was a collector, for nearly 35, 36 years, about 40 years ago, I was one of the first women collectors. And it was a great thing to be a woman collector, and everybody was, watching me to say, what will I do wrong? And I was only 29 years old, and so they said, young woman collector, she's going to make a mess of it. Anyway, we came a long way from that, and today I'm happy to say in Tamil Nadu there are 11 women collectors. Which is a great achievement. See, this is the professional world which we have to change. We can't expect the change. It is depending on how you project yourself. If you project yourself as there is no alternative but Padmavati or Sheelavati to this job, then they will take you. They have no, especially the corporate world, they are looking for competence, and there may be prejudices. You have to be, you have to project a gender neutral image, that irrespective of the fact that you're a man or woman or even a third gender, LBGT, whatever, your professional qualification is all that matters. Will you be able to deliver the job on hand? Yes, I will. I'll do it better than anybody else, man, woman, or LBGT, whatever it is. That is the image you have to project. You have to be assertive. You have to show your confidence in the way you carry yourself, in the way you build up your career, in the track record that you have, the reputation that you build. All these things contribute to your journey to top. There will be a lot of challenges. That's what makes it more exciting. If there was no challenge, we wouldn't be talking today. It is the challenge that makes us want to leave our footprints behind. And that's what should make it possible. I think we have such a much more exciting life than a man's life where there is no such challenge. For us, there is a challenge we have to overcome, and it is a much more exciting and fulfilling life.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Maybe as a last question, Ramya?
Yes, ma'am.
Last question.
Ma'am, I'm reading the question for you. Ma'am, thanks a lot. Can you share any tight corner that you faced and what made you to come out of that issue as a woman?
What is that? What
tight corner?
Can you share any tight corner that you faced and what made you to come out of that?
What did you say? I did that.
Shall I repeat the question, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Yes. Can you share any tight corner that you faced and what made you to come out of that issue as a woman?
You see, I thought of myself as a woman particularly, I just responded to the job on hand. There were plenty of occasions when when I first joined service, my boss didn't want me to join under him because he thought I was a woman, I won't be able to do the. And my boss's boss, then chief secretary, said, no, she's a woman, so what, she can do well. I had to prove him right. So I went ahead and did better than what anybody could expect. And I can't, there are numerous instances, and this is not particular to a woman, but I share something that I used to learn being a woman. For example, we were doing some raids of smuggling of ice in district which mentioned earlier. I remember as a young girl, I would go and stand on the road alone, and lorries would stop seeing the young on the road. And I would catch them. So it is a young boy stood on the road, lorry would stop, no trucks would stop. But a young woman standing on the road made them stop immediately. Without any police or anything, I was able to use the fact that I was a woman. It is a bit of a tricky situation, but as a result of which, the whole district started fearing all women. They thought any woman standing on the road was probably the sub-collector trying to catch them. So, this is an image that was a message that went around, and then people got very scared of all young women. So disadvantage can turn to advantage. I remember any particular instance where because I was someone, I had problem. I had problems in dealing with male professionals who felt the camaraderie with a woman was difficult. Especially politicians that time, not so much because many more women in the service. At that time, the male politicians used to feel the woman was more difficult to deal with. You can't talk openly to her. You can't have, crack a joke with her. You can't be free with her. You have to be a little restricted and little constrained. So they were very wary of having a woman work with them. Even later, when I was in Government of India, I remember as Secretary to Government of India, I was being posted in a department which was a very male-dominated department, and the Mantri said, "Mahila nahi chahiye." I don't want a woman. For no reason. But then I was forced to go there, and we didn't get along very well. But then he lost his job, I retained mine. So I continued there. That's all. This is just the one story again. But you keep across these challenges, and I can't name any particular instance where I was where the fact of my being a woman was a hindrance. I mean, throughout there is this background that you are a woman. But then you build up a reputation over a period of 10, 20 years, 30 years, you build up a reputation, and then you are seen as so and so and not as a woman. You have these plus points, these minus points, you take it or leave it.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable session and your time. And now, Ramya, can you go, ma'am?
I'm sure your words at this point of time has really instilled a lot of confidence within us. I'm sure we will be able to break our shell, shed our inhibitions, and seize the opportunity whichever comes in front of us. And as you said, we'll be complete, competent, and humane in whatever we do. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable time and for your thought and for your words and for your experiences which you have shared with us. I'm sure we'll relish all this. And SRM is, of course, an example for giving leadership roles. We do have our own convener here, and we do have another coordinator here who have taken up leadership roles. So we do excel in that, as you said. And thank you once again for your presence and for your blessings. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. It was wonderful to see you, your bright face, so actively pursuing cause women. I wish you all the best and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Continue, please.
It is now my privilege to invite Dr. T.V. Gopal, sir, the Dean of College of Engineering and Technology. Sir has his PhD and Masters from Anna University and is a member of Institution of Engineering and Technology, UK, Indian Science Congress Association, and life member of Indian Society of Technical Education. He has guided more than 40 projects and has participated in leadership program in higher education in the US, organized by the United States Department of State in Washington, DC. Sir has been a source of constant motivation for us, and it would be an honor to receive his blessings on this occasion for the successful conduct of the program. I welcome you, sir, to deliver the felicitation address.
Thank you, Ramya.
Thank you.
Distinguished Chief Guest, Ms. Shantha Sheela Nair, IAS, former Vice Chairman of State Planning Commission. Our beloved Vice Chancellor in charge, Dr. Muthamid Shelvan, Dr. Poomal, Presiding Officer, Internal Complaints Committee, and Convener of the FDP, and other coordinators, distinguished speakers, and participants. A very good morning. It gives me immense pleasure to be part of the inaugural program of the FDP on capacity building of women in higher education, jointly organized by the ICC and IQAC under the auspices of AACT. And thanks for inviting me for offering the felicitation. At the outset, I must congratulate the team for putting in place a well-structured program I just perused the program for the next 5 days. I think you have encompassed all the domains that are required for the empowerment of women. In a recent G7 meeting, with a view to contributing to the implementation of Agenda 2030 and of all its sustainable development goals, the guiding principles for capacity building for women and girls towards sustainable, inclusive, and equitable growth and peace were announced. I'm just going to take a few guidelines from that which pertains to this topic. One is to eliminate gender disparities and stereotypes in education and careers. To support building the capacity of educational administrators and teachers to deepen their understanding of gender equality. To encourage the active role of women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM careers by broadening the participation of women in research, engineering, and entrepreneurial careers. I think much has been already talked about and interacted with the Chief Guest and the Vice Chancellor. So I'm not going to dwell more on that, but such efforts will be promoted through collective and individual efforts, including the G7's Women's Initiative in Developing STEM Career. In short, it is WINS. In spite of an increased access and participation of women in all sectors of education at the higher education level, even in the 21st century, India is one among the Commonwealth countries with the lowest percentage of women. This has already been touched upon. Gender diversity is vital to higher education leadership, as when successful women leaders work with male and or female students, faculty, and staff. Female academic leaders see different perspectives and solutions to issues than once an all-male leadership team would. Cultural norms continue to dictate the role of women at the workplace. Is seen as a secondary to her role at home and as a nurturer and homemaker. However, that towards women have the potential to contribute to effective management of higher education is an acknowledged fact, and efforts have to be made to meet this challenge. And our chief guest has already indicated or given a pathway that our Vice Chancellor may be nominating a women Vice Chancellor after his tenure. It is important that the change process begins with the self. However, one cannot wait for the changes to occur in these systems. Women themselves have to be proactive in achieving systemic change. It is not enough to establish capacity. It must also be used. In order to create development, higher education and research must be useful for society and lead to good employment opportunities for the graduates. The universities must be part of the surrounding society and not an isolated ivory towers. I see from the souvenir, the 5-day FDP deliberates on all of the above issues and domains, and I am sure the outcome of this FDP will help the academic planners to put in place strategies to build the capacity of women and to remove gender inequality. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity, and my best wishes for a very productive FDP and a mutually rewarding experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, your video was off. Can you, I think you were.
No, I'm on only. My video is on only.
Maybe now only. Maybe I have made you as co-host now only.
Okay, it was on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Ramya? Your voice is muted. You are muted, Ramya.
Thank you, sir, for that concept of breaking the gender stereotype and bringing in inclusivity. Yes, that is more required in workplace atmosphere to give in more confidence and support for women to apply for leadership roles. Thank you very much, sir, for that. And now, we have a break for 10 minutes and we'll start the session at 11 o'clock. The second session will start at 11 o'clock. Thank you all
So-
very much for your time.
Yeah, there is no being an inaugural address. We haven't given us a formal valedictory, but I wanted to thank all the chief guest, vice chancellor sir, and dean sir, and all the deans and directors who are joined with us for this inaugural. Thank you so much. And dear participants, we will meet for the second session after 11:15. At 11:15, we'll meet. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Sheela ma'am.
Thank you.
ma'am.
Sheila ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you,
Vignesh
ma'am.
sir. Vignesh sir, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
madam. Thank you,
all.
sir. Very well organized. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Stop recording.